Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri wa ashriku fi amri. Kay nusabbihaka kaseera wa nadhkuraka kaseera innaka kunta bina basira. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. Inshallah, we will continue from the rays. We had started on the 15th ray second station. We had started with the third step of understanding divine power, where the author was sharing. This is called the section on the shining proof. So we were discussing the phrase through the mysteries of the assistance of unity, facility of unity, and the manifestation of oneness. And we stopped at page 628. So I will just go back to the beginning of the page to read the first paragraph on page 628, because I think we did read that, but then just so we can recall a little bit on how divine power is operating, how the author is sharing with the examples he's giving to pay attention to in the universe, that nothing in the universe can function without absolute power. They don't have their knowledge, they don't have the will, they don't have the power, the things within themselves. So let's see. As it is said in letters, Maktubat, in one of his works, the author's other books, if the alternations of day and night and the motions of the stars and the seasons of the year, the autumn, winter, spring, and summer, are left to a single officer and organizer, that commander-in-chief commands the globe of the earth, which is a soldier. So completely obedient like a soldier. Each and every, all these seasons, whatever we observe, the day and night, the big things that we usually see and just take it for granted. As if right now we're in this area we're in the peak of summer time. Slowly it's getting a little cooler and the season changes to fall season. For some reason, it feels like it's going too fast for me right now. The way the changes is happening amazingly. We started spring and now summer is almost coming to an end. People who are in school are saying, oh my God, summer vacation is over. My nephew is saying, oh, we have to go back to school. So who is really organizing and changing all this? Well, I mean, we don't really bother questioning these things. We just live by it, okay, and accept it, but don't really pay attention to exactly what is going on with all these drastic changes we see, because we're used to them. That's one thing. Familiarity is one thing, but we don't see divine power, because I just live in this universe, and yes, day and night, day is here, night I sleep, and then the morning again. But the questioning, wondering of how these alternations, these phenomena that are amazingly incredible if you think about them. Yeah, so I mean, do we wonder that they are completely obedient to the absolute command, just like a soldier? So analogy of a soldier has to follow the order of whoever their super or the major or whoever is in charge of them, their supervisor, and just obeys, follows, doesn't complain, doesn't say anything. So it says rise up, rotate, and travel. Out of joy. So that's another thing, out of joy and delight at receiving the command. With two motions, like a Mevlevi dervish in ecstasy. It is easily the means of the daily and annual changes and the apparent imaginary movements of the stars, thus demonstrating the total ease and facility of unity. But if it is left not to the single commander, but to causes and the caprices of the stars, and earth is told, you stop in your place and don't travel. Every night and every year, thousands of stars and suns, thousands of times larger than the earth, would have to cut distances of thousands of millions of years, so that through their traveling, the situations of the earth and heavens, such as the seasons and day and night, might come about. But it would be so difficult as to be impossible. So if it's not left to the single commander, but to causes and the caprices of all the stars and the earth, I don't see them having any caprices, but human beings definitely have the caprices according to whatever the will of the creator is. We try to challenge it. We don't accept it easily. And we look for excuses in the causes, and this sometimes we may get satisfied, but mostly, I mean, if we understand the reality of this universe, we can see that causes are just veils. So it is absolutely the command of the owner of the universe through which events are happening in the human's life as well. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand absolutely. I found it difficult to follow
This last part of the sentence. So it says,
stars and suns towards the times larger than the earth would have practiced the so that they now towards the end it says when they are traveling, you can mark maybe when they are traveling,
okay.
the situations of the earth
Okay.
and heavens, situations of the earth and heavens, such as the seasons and day and night, might come about. Now, from there, my English is not really enough to follow the text with a long sentence exactly what he's saying. But what I understood from the original text, going back to the original text that I am more familiar with, if we are if we are talking about the season,
Yes.
for example, let's say it's one part of the universe, for example, a star. Let's assume that star has some sort of individual, independent power. It means from itself.
Okay.
Now, and once on the earth, spring should happen. Arrange it. What has to know? And what capacity does he have to have? The answer, He should command the sun. He should command the earth.
Mhm.
He should command the atmosphere,
Mhm.
clouds, and other related not paid, what is that? The sun, the moon is
Orbit, the
orbit, all the other things traveling the orbit.
in the galaxy,
No,
the Milky Way.
not the star, but for example, Earth
Oh.
is not a star, but
Comets or
no,
Planets.
what?
Planet.
Planets?
planets.
Okay.
Yeah, not the star, but
Okay.
planets.
Like Earth, Mars,
The
Jupiter.
relationship with the other stars.
Right.
No, whatever we say, one part of of course, this is a big picture now. One part of the universe,
Mm.
if one part of the universe had the power to have spring happened on the earth, he has to have all the other elements involved in the existence of the spring under his command at the same time, and arranged all of them at the same time. A part of the universe. Can you imagine that it will be able to do it, although it doesn't have any power, but assume that it has a power.
Right.
But which kind of power is needed? This whatever we assign that this has the power, has to command all of them and control all of them at the same time. Can we imagine logically
Mhm.
one part of the computer, in order to make the computer work, one part of the computer must know all the other rests of other parts of the computer, so that it will say, okay, you do each of them, this, and then the result will come.
Mhm.
That's why a part of a thing cannot be the source of existence of the whole thing. Does it make sense?
Part of a thing cannot be the
Existence of the other all
Okay.
things, because it is already a part of it itself.
Right, it's part of it.
What is the significance of this? And the author is saying, none of the parts of the universe can be or can have any power over other things at all, because it's a part of it. So when we look at the universe, we see that everything is harmoniously subjugated to one center.
Mhm.
If this one center is cut, everything
Collapses.
falls apart, disappears actually from existence, doesn't exist. So that is why, for human reasoning, to think of the universe as coming into existence with one central power,
Right.
or knowledge, and power and knowledge and other qualities altogether.
Mhm.
And this quality cannot be the part of the universe. And yeah,
Right.
in order to have this quality, this thing
Must not be part.
cannot be any part of the whole universe.
Mhm.
Logically, we conclude what? The source of the existence of all this universe as we see it, changing in time and never failing in harmony, in order, must have a source, must have an agent
Mhm.
which exists and encompasses its qualities, encompasses everything at the same time.
Mhm.
That is why the word we keep using here, absolute, 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 is necessary to for the creator of this universe to have absolute qualities, and absolute qualities cannot be a part of the universe. So logically, I understood from this paragraph. So atoms are acting by themselves, particles are acting by themselves, or any part of this universe acting by itself in a such way, because each one is acting in harmony with the whole of the universe.
I see.
So either they should have an independent quality to do this, or all of them must have a source which has an independent, absolute quality. That is what God. Or we should mean, when we say God, we should mean this when we say God. This absolute, independent, existent one. That is logically necessary, and human minds, together with human feelings, and human feelings say, yeah, that is what I feel secure now in my existence, because my existence is coming from an absolute being who gives and creates and controls everything at the same time, and my feelings feel secure only if I belong to an absolute being, because my feelings want what? Everything is perfect and infinite. Don't you feel that you have to have a perfect mind with no end? And human mind concludes, human feelings confirms and satisfied, and they are satisfied. Did we get it?
Yes.
Did I make sense? Or do they find any difficulties in hearing me?
Guys, speak up if you find any difficulty in hearing.
No, it's
Bro.
fine. Abdullah. Also, this whole thing about conclusion and confirmation, some people say, oh, what comes first, the mind or the feelings? To me, at least, they go hand in hand. When something makes sense, you're like, yeah, this totally makes sense. When we use this language of, oh, yeah, this makes sense, meaning that my mind has rationally and logically concluded it, and whatever has been concluded is in conformity with my feelings. Just wanted to reiterate what I understood. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
So,
But I thought there may be a question saying that, but something weird, sometimes, occasionally, something weird happens.
yeah.
Yeah. This, there was a great scholar who was arguing about this. And I remember now, we talk always at existential level, but the relationship with the world is to be mentioned at emotional level or sensual level. Emotional level, sensual level interprets the result as far as it is relationship with this thing. Okay. For example, the weird thing or dislike creation. I don't like earthquake to happen, but earthquake happens. And my feelings are, I didn't like this. It is correct, because my feelings are given the quality not to like it. And I'm not saying I don't like earthquakes is a valid conclusion for my feelings.
I see.
But this argument is correct or makes sense at existential level. How? In order for the earthquake to happen, the earth must be with all its elements under one command. To be able to create the earthquake, one has to have a full control of the whole earth and its orbit, its design, it is everything. The speed and the structure of the things in it, every detail under its command. So existentially, to create the earthquake, one has to be the agent, one has to have
everything else.
Everything under his control.
Okay.
Now, existential, it is true. How about emotional reaction? It is also correct, but we have to teach or we have to think emotions, argue with our emotions, with our reasoning. You dislike it,
But
and the reason says, I see the wisdom in it. Why? You are created for eternity, and you see that your life is limited in this one, in this world. That is why how you understand that only the one who creates everything can create eternity. You cannot take your existence for granted. So be thankful that sometimes the Creator reminds you, you cannot have any power, any quality to say on the existence of anything. You are subjected. So this difference is, we have to clarify that I'm talking about existential level. At the existential level, for example, creation of a useful cell for the body requires an absolute power. Creation of cancer cell it also requires an absolute power to exist. Accident cannot create any of them. Now mind is satisfied. Feelings said, yeah, it is good, but sometimes it disturbs me. I don't like this. And mind says, look, your purpose of existence requires this, that you will die, you will get ill, and you will experience that. You cannot take the existence for granted. You are a dependent, transient, needy creature. And Phil said, I don't like it, but this is reality. This is reality.
That's the training of the feelings?
Sorry?
That is the training of the feelings?
Yeah, because we cannot take it for granted. Whatever I feel is correct. No, I have to reason using my...
so go back and forth with the reasoning.
Between reason and feeling and reason. So we have to really use ourselves fully, not one reason, not one feeling, together fully. That is why some tradition pays attention fully to feelings. Partially, but ignores a reason. They go in what? They have to decide, this is a deep subject, deny the existence of the universe altogether, saying that this is just imagination, that only God is operating everywhere. If you use your reason only, not the feelings, back and forth interaction, then you say, there must be a God, and that's it, none of my business. I have to take care of my own life. Because, he is creating it, but I have to choose and I have to entertain myself. But you are going to die. What shall I do? I am helpless. This doesn't get hope from there.
If you focus on the heart only?
No, on the mind.
On the
mind, not the feelings.
I see.
So feelings and mind must complement each other. When somebody fails, one of them fails, the other one support. When the other one fails, the other one. So we will have a balanced way of understanding the universe and balanced life. Yes, I want eternity. Yes, my creator is merciful. And even if he creates what I don't like, is merciful, we can understand this if we if our both sides were together.
But in this case, it sounds like the reasoning makes more sense.
Sorry?
Reasoning makes more sense if it's going back and forth with the feelings. The reasoning wins in that way, doesn't it?
Oh, but not enough. You know what's enough?
Mhm.
When you say there is God, how can I attach my expectations to God? It is feeling.
Mhm.
But my mind only experiences it when feelings get involved.
Okay.
So we have to use both sides of us.
Mm. There's some comment.
Yeah, of course, I would like to.
Sorry. So my human journey here is the conversation between my feelings and reasoning.
Yeah, it requires it.
Mhm.
I don't see the human journey is
Journeying here in this, in the conversation between my feelings.
yeah.
So going back and forth between the
Yeah.
feelings and the reasoning.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
May I just ask a question?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. So am I to understand that the feeling that I feel, the emotion that I feel, is intended to initiate a sense of logical reasoning within me, which is that I have to understand what the feeling is that I'm feeling to then, under the feeling or under the guidance of that emotion, logically express what that emotion is telling me? Is that what this is about?
I didn't really get what you said.
So if an emotion is like an ayah, it's like a sign.
Emotions is a sign.
Yeah, an emotion is a sign of
Yeah.
something. Am I supposed to use that sign as like, it is an ayah, it is a sign, but what I'm trying to figure out is it always meant to be that when I feel some emotion, it's meant to start that dialogue between logic and emotion, or sorry, reasoning and emotion? Is that what this is like alluding to, what we're talking about now?
So he's saying logic and reasoning and emotions, they communicate to each
Yes.
other. Yeah.
That is what we have been talking about.
That's how humans are.
Yeah, that's our reality.
Yeah, and what I'm also just trying to understand is that always the order of the process? Is it always an emotion that you're supposed to pay attention to, or is reason supposed to also have like what's supposed to initiate that conversation, or is it multifarious?
Is that what you're asking? If there is an order in terms of
Yeah.
what's the process of a human
That's right.
being is? Should he start from reasoning or logical conclusion and then go listen to the feelings and emotions?
Yeah. So what is the question?
What is the order? Can we start with the feelings and go to the reasoning, or the reasoning goes to the feelings and emotions?
When you are hungry, you just run to the kitchen with your mind, with your emotions together. We cannot separate it. But we are talking about the theory of how human beings work. But always we live in this world together. We cannot shut one of them down at all. We may not be aware of it, but they both work together. But our consciousness must be aware of what is going on in ourselves, so that we should arrive at a conclusion saying that this universe and my existence as well, and the existence of the universe needs a one central agent which is not dependent, which is not limited, that we are talking about. Practically, we live as we are, together with our feelings and everything. But theoretically, to understand what the reality of what is going on in this world, theoretically to understand and reach a conclusion that this universe is acting in such a way that we have to come to the conclusion that the agent who creates this universe must have an absolute being, must be an absolute being with absolute qualities. That is what we are trying to understand this process, so that we will either believe in God or deny it. But in our practical life, whether we believe in God or whether we don't believe in God, when we are hungry, we run to the kitchen. When there is a baby, mother takes care of the baby, practically speaking. But the same mother may say, I am doing it naturally, or may say, I am doing it as I am created by the owner of the universe, and I am obeying how I am created, acknowledging his authority and being thankful to the creator. The other one thanks herself. That is the difference. We are talking about this conclusion. On how this conclusion should be, we have to be careful. We have to use mind, intellect, we have to use feelings, and see how the relationship is working, and come to the conclusion that, yes, in order to make the analysis and come to a conclusion whether I should believe in God and be thankful to him, or I should be thankful to myself, not believing in the creator. In this conclusion, we are saying that their mind and feelings must be working together. One will see one side, the other one will fail, the other one will fail, and the other one will complete it, so that we will understand how we reach a secure conclusion in our belief. That's what Quran says, Iman. Iman is not only belief. Iman has a niyyah. It means security, secure conclusion. I am sure this is correct, satisfied. Now, practical side of us is different from analysis of the practical side of our life. So we are doing the analysis
of human beings.
Yeah.
Journey
For example, every atheist lives in this world as a believer in ghaib. Yeah.
How?
How? Of course. When something happens, if there is no agent present there, he says definitely somebody did it.
Right.
Did you see it? No. How do you know? I conclude. From where? The event. What do you conclude from the event of the universe? There is no ghaib. Contradiction? I have to see God here. As the Quran says, Jewish people say, not the Jews, anybody can say it, but this example given on the example of Jews. So we will not believe in God unless we see it. Which or what atheist lives according to this principle? I shouldn't believe in ghaib unless I see it. Somebody hits it, or let's say, not somebody said, somebody has stolen his property. He says, somebody has stolen my property.
Right.
Goes and complains complains about it to the police. Have you seen it? No. It's so simple. Everybody lives within the same conditions, but according to the free will, which way we should choose. That is why Quran is revealed to help us how to utilize our reality of existence or our reality of the qualities given to us. And this book, the commentary on the Quran also says, how explains it, helps us to understand how you should utilize to reach a conclusion about the reality of your existence. Not how to live in this world. Everybody lives in the same way, but with consciousness. I bow before God. The other person bows before meta or farmer or boss or money. I bow. If I conclude one absolute being is creating and controlling this universe, everything is going on there, and I have to be thankful for it. I go to the farmer, I say, give me this food, take your $10 and get away, thank you, God. Understand? Why? Farmer is not creator. The creator, and if I concluded about the absolute being who is called God,
right.
I say, thank you, God. And I say to the farmer, thank you, take $10 and go. Do you see the relationship? The other one worships the farmer, if you like. I worship the creator, but acknowledge his labor with $10. My relationship with my God requires only acknowledgement.
This is happening within the human, that
Yes,
while I'm doing a transaction, that
according to my intention. So according to my intention, but intention is not enough. I have to educate myself how to use my intention, which principles I should follow. So try to pay attention to what is going on in the world, and then accordingly reach a conclusion. But in our practical life, we don't reach a conclusion, whether it is emotion, it is reasonable or rational or emotional or sensual. No, I just practically live it. But in the way that we practically live in this world, we have no responsibility. Our responsibility is to use our intelligence to question our reality. What is going on in my being in this world? So that I will direct my feelings to thank whom? I have to thank whom? I have to be grateful to whom? I have to expect the satisfaction of my feelings from whom? From nature. Nature kills you, finish. From God, God gives you death, yes, kills you, and because of his quality, guarantees my existence will continue in another form, maybe, I don't know. God creates seed and then tree out of seed. Shows the example. Now, seed dies, tree is created. So my body dies, but tree will be created. Possible? Definitely, because the creator has absolute qualities. And promises through my feelings that he will do it. I am experiencing it because I see crazy, irrational. If I am given the need for eternal happiness, but eternal happiness is not created by my creator. But my creator gave me this need. And I see practically in this world, whatever I need in this world, within the capacity of this creation, all my needs are met. My lungs are here, atmosphere is here. As you can continue now, so on. this is how we should discuss here. Practical life, after concluding my practical life, changes the meaning. Whatever. Materialist people's practical life is based on accident, chance. I am lucky or I am unlucky. A believer's life practically understood and realized not chance, but absolute being's decision. Why? In order to introduce himself to me. Diametrically contradictory to each other, belief and denial. This is conclusion. And live accordingly. But animal side lives the same, everybody.
So I'm thinking, so let's say something happens, let's say the earthquake happens, and at that time,
The earthquake happened.
yeah, that time I can't say, okay, God's power, because I'm
Yes.
seeing the present event that's right there. But I have to, it takes, maybe after a few days it will come when I start reasoning, and then the mind, because at that time I'm really heavy on the emotions
Yeah.
because I'm experiencing right there at that moment. So
Depending on previous
experience.
experiences, how much you are trained yourself in this field. Somebody may say, somebody may struggle, of course, you run away, you try to preserve your life, secure your life. While you are doing it, you may still say, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Now you are doing the one who created the universe is doing it. I got it. That is a narration. How true it is doesn't matter, but it is in the culture of Muslim people. It means this understanding is correct, accepted by the Muslim culture. Earthquake happened, they say. They may be a scholar, respected scholar, gave an example, saying that if an earthquake happened during the caliphate of Omar, and the audience say, an earthquake happened. So narrations may have this kind of aspect. We should be aware of it. So, and narration says, an earthquake happened during the caliphate of Omar. Omar is the caliph, so he feels the responsibility of his society.
Right.
An earthquake maybe took place more than 2-3 seconds. He said, we got the message, stop now. He, in a stick in his hand, hit the earth, stop now.
Oh.
It means we got the message. Look, on the spot you got the message. We are transient and we cannot have any word to say.
I see.
On the control of the universe, even the earth, anything. Its control is, the control of everything is in the hand of the one who is the absolute being, only, finish. Acknowledgement of it. You got the message, stop it. Don't disturb my people, it means. But of course, he is not commanding God, but this is the way how to communicate through. For example, while we are praying, we bow ourselves. Right? This is the way to communicate with my creator. Look, I acknowledge your awesomeness, azamet, awesome being, absolute being. I acknowledge it. While I am doing this, I am doing a physical action. But this is how I am created with my body. So I have to perform my ubudiyya with my body. If I am excited about a beautiful creation, I have to say with my tongue, not only here, I understood in my mind only. No, I say, first, Subhanallah, and then my hands goes up there, my eyes are bright,
Mm.
and my face is happy. Subhanallah, for example. Look, we are created with our body. In our ubudiyah, communicating with God, acknowledgement of God must be involved in bodily reactions as well.
Oh.
That is our reality,
Mm.
how our reality is.
Inshallah.
Okay, lots of comments.
Lots of things, yes.
But Ian started a
Good.
interesting point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian.
All right. Let's move on. Do you have any comments, Ian? Go ahead.
Who?
I was just wanting to emphasize my gratitude. The explanation made a lot of sense to my head.
All right. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I hope we live with this, inshallah. All right. So the phrase and the manifestation of oneness alludes to a vast and extremely subtle, profound and extensive truth. So the manifestation of oneness.
Mhm.
Referring explanation and proof of it to the risale-i Nur, we shall here set out a single point by means of a comparison. Yes, just as through its light, the sun illuminates the whole earth and is an example of unity. So something we can experience with the sun, how it illuminates the whole earth.
Yeah.
That's an analogy. So through its image, reflection, 7 colored light and shape appearing in all the transparent things that face it, such as mirrors, it forms an example of oneness. So the same sun
Yeah.
bringing
The same sun
lighting
is
of it.
manifesting in each of them at the same time. Example,
example. Yeah.
as you said, analogy.
Mhm. If the sun possessed knowledge, power, and will, and the fragments of glass and droplets and bubbles in which the tiny suns appeared had the capacity, through the law of divine will, in each and next to each, a complete sun would be present together with its image and attributes, as well as in all the other places. So I think this is another imagination example like the one we did before. If the star had the knowledge, power to know the whole galaxy, the whole system, I mean, it has to know, but anything which is part of this universe is subject to whatever the universe is subjected to as well. So there being no deficiency in its power of disposal through the command, effect, and word of dominical power, it would be the cause of truly extensive manifestations, thus demonstrating the extraordinary ease and facility of oneness.
We have to, for our intelligence, for our mind to accept.
To understand, so
It's very easy
yeah,
to understand that if we attribute it
to
to
an absolute one,
absolute, if
divine,
you
yeah.
like,
the
divine
source,
power,
the
absolute power. Divine means nothing to do with this universe.
Mhm.
No, but nothing to do with a part
Not a part of
being
it,
a part.
right?
Otherwise, this divine power has everything to do with this universe. but nothing to do with I cannot describe it. I cannot describe it with any part of this universe, anything like this universe. That means divine. If I say, let me think, if the universe, let's assume that first, we are just beginning now. The universe was created by an absolute being. And then look at the universe, try to understand how the things are coming into existence. We see no difficulty. We face no difficulty. How can I explain this then? There is no question. But this thing cannot be explained. But whereas, if I say universe happened by itself naturally, who's nature? What is that? In the universe, I have to experience it. What is that? And I said the things, but things happen naturally. Nature happens because of things. Which kind of reason? Difficult for mind to approve. And also the universe is coming into existence easily. What does it mean? I see no difficulty in the existence of the universe. Everything is continuously changing. No, I see no difficulty. It happens at the same time. That means also easy. It is easy to explain if we attribute it to an absolute source.
Oneness, yes. So extraordinary ease and facility of oneness. Ease and facility of oneness. So everything's so easy.
This oneness means, I think, oneness, if it is one, not two, why not? There's further things. Oneness is, as I keep saying this, because it is important to understand the Quran. When the Quran says Allahu Ahad, if I say oneness, one or two, so what?
Right, not that number.
This oneness means this is correct. It's not. I'm not saying it's wrong. It needs explanation. A one, which has no peer, no like.
La ilaha illallah.
Absolute. It means absolute. No peer, no like. It means I cannot liken it to anything. So oneness means I have to have a source which will be enough to explain everything. That is absolute, infinite. That is why we have to understand Ahad as infinite, but Ahad is explained as La ilaha illahu. Now, infinite needs further explanation in it. Infinite means not finite, but what is not finite? La ilaha illahu. Not finite, but illa, what is not finite? And I can only describe it within human language, infinite. In the Quranic language, La ilaha illahu. Actually, La ilaha illahu, a kind of meaning translation of the meaning La ilaha, infinite, or infinite. I would say La ilaha illahu, there is no God but God. No. La ilaha illahu means in English infinite, not finite. The one which is not finite.
Or not of the nature of this universe.
No.
Not like the created, nothing like the created.
Finite means a part of the universe, everything is finite, dependent. That is why people don't appreciate, believers have their mind, what they mean by there is no God but God. But non-believers say, what does it mean there is no God but God?
Right.
What do you mean? You have to explain there is no God in the universe. that can have a divine power to create something, to control the world, to control everything. But there must be a one who, yes, makes sense, but needs further
But needs-
explanation.
needs,
At first, it doesn't strike.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say, in order to be able to create the universe as it is now, something must be infinite.
Infinite.
But unfortunately, we call the universe, because we cannot come to the end. Yeah, human logic says universe must be infinite. No, because I cannot come. If it was infinite, it should be absolute. If it was absolute, it should be dependent in its existence.
Mm.
But in order to realize all this, one has to take his existence, her existence seriously, and think of what am I? What is going on in my being? And what is going on in the being of everything out there? So we have to bother to question.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Right. I think you're right. So let's see.
Any comment?
No comments.
Okay.
So that was on oneness and La ilaha illallah, on how to understand it further. Explanation is needed. When we say there's no deity but God. So in the example that he gives, so he said, the author goes, in exactly the same way, just as in respect of his unity. So his unity also, like his infinite, things as being infinite, not finite, grasp of each and every finite thing, his unity, the all-glorious maker looks through his knowledge, will and power, which encompass all things.
Again, absolute knowledge, absolute
Will
will,
and
absolute power.
Power.
But so by definition, each of which encompasses all things, absolute.
Mhm.
Yeah. Otherwise, when you say God is powerful, doesn't really express the real meaning. God's power, or the one who creates this universe, must have an absolute power. So God is powerful. It looks like a claim.
Right.
But the Quran says God is powerful. I would say, is he?
So I have to look from the things.
So yeah,
And
I have to go back saying that in order to be able to create this universe, an absolute power is needed, and whoever has this absolute power, because the universe, it cannot be this, any part of the universe or in its altogether is not absolute. They are continuously changing, subject to change, dependent. So this absolute, the one who has this absolute power is called God.
Mhm. So just as in respect of his unity, the all-glorious maker looks through his knowledge, will, and power, which encompasses all things, and is all-present and all-seeing everywhere. So with respect to his oneness and through its manifestation, he is present together with his
Oneness
names.
means absolute, being absolute. Yeah.
He is present together with his names and attributes with all things, and particularly living things, so that easily in an instant he creates a fly on the pattern of an eagle. He creates a fly on the pattern of an eagle and a human being according to the system of the universe.
Fly can exist only according to the system of the universe.
The system meaning the order in the universe
Yeah.
system, yeah. Which is set.
So does
whoever, yeah.
the ego. So does the earth.
Mhm.
According to the whole, according to the
How
to the system of the universe. So whoever holds the system all together
Mhm.
must be the creator of the eagle, creator of the fly, creator of the galaxies. So creator of the
Creator of that,
galaxies, creator of the fly,
Yeah.
creator of atom
Mhm.
is the same. Because absolute has no limitations.
There's a question, how do we understand the phrase, there is no God but God? So that was posted. How do we understand the phrase, there is no God but God?
Who was
I-
asking?
Some sister Yasmin,
Yes.
never met or saw her before. So
How do we understand?
yeah.
That is why there is no God, but God is difficult to understand. But we have to explain it.
Mhm.
We have to explain it. But this is when we speak in English, this is a problem. Even when we speak in Arabic, if we don't explain it, we don't really grasp it. La ilaha illallah.
Mhm.
But they say ilah, Allah, Allah is el ilah. But this is not the solution because, yeah, so what? I mean, there is no God, but there is the God, let's say.
So
So what?
changing the words
But,
doesn't explain it. Yeah.
the God means the creator, the pre-accepted concept.
Mhm.
It is not logical conclusion.
Mhm.
It is just repeating your previously accepted concept.
I see.
But we are trying to understand what we meant by this pre-accepted concept God.
Mhm.
And God explains this La ilaha illallah in this form. So this, I would say, if I may say, as an answer to our friend's question,
Mhm.
there is no being who has the power to create anything, to give existence to anything which didn't exist before.
There's no such thing.
No, there is nothing there. Look at the atom,
in the
cannot
universe.
give existence to anything, not only the universe, anything.
Mhm.
They are all subject to the order of the universe. So they have to be under the command of whoever put them in this position. The earth cannot go out of its orbit. It has to be there. The system is created in such a way that the earth cannot have any choice, any power, any will.
Mhm.
So we have to question who can establish the whole system of the universe, because La ilaha means the things cannot do it, cannot have this quality.
Mhm.
In a short way of saying, things cannot have divine quality. Divine means having the power to create something.
Mhm.
So
Creative power.
nothing of the part of this universe. That is why La ilaha, there is no God, needs explanation. There is no God within the universe. Any part of the universe cannot be a creator,
Mhm.
but universe and everything in it exists. How come then?
There's some
There is no creator here.
infinite creative
So
power.
it says illallah. Therefore, there must be a one.
Mhm.
Now, I think Yasmin is very careful now. There must be a one who gave existence to the universe, including everything, every single thing in it, with his absolute qualities. Because if he didn't have the absolute qualities, he wouldn't be able to be the creator. So apart from this one, there is no other thing has this quality. So this one is called, the Quran says, Allah. Allah is a proper name.
Mhm.
Like I am saying, very simple, the architect of this house is architect Hassan, architect, I don't know, James. Yeah.
Mhm.
So James includes the qualities in it. Architect, being an architect. This is a human example.
Right.
Maybe at the same time, a father. Maybe at the same time, let's say, engineer, a mechanical engineer, maybe.
Mhm.
But the creator of the universe, whose name is called, the Quran calls Allah, so who is called Allah, must have every quality manifested in this world. The origin of every quality manifested in the things must be originated from him.
Mhm.
His reflection, it means sun's light. When we see sunlight manifests in each bright things,
Mhm.
shiny things.
Right.
Yeah. The bright things, we say, the same sun, the same quality of sunlight, same quality of sunlight. How? Giving light,
Mhm.
warming, giving warmth.
Mhm.
What else? Color.
Right.
Color.
Uh-huh.
Must be from the one sun, because everything manifests the same quality
Mhm.
at the same time. The source must be one, but infinite. Yep.
All right. The system of the universe, he creates living creatures in a way so miraculous that if all causes were to gather together, they could not make a nightingale or a fly. And the one who creates the nightingale is the one who creates all birds. And the one who creates a human being could only be the one who creates the whole universe. So if you can look at one thing and come to the conclusion it's created by an infinite being, so then other things that we see, everything is created by that absolute being. And I think we are over time. Thank you for your questions and comments. They were very beneficial. So I will stop here and we will continue with the fourth and fifth steps next time, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana. Innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati suratul Fatiha. Thank you.